Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here this morning and able to finally kind of start talking to you and starting the conversation about our newest program. It's called To Be Mindset, and this program is unlike any other that we have ever launched before. So many of you know that I'm a health and fitness lifestyle coach. I am a fitness instructor in the gym arena, but you also see me doing my own workouts from home because that's how I got started in the fitness to begin with. I had no passion about fitness whatsoever. I took dance as a kid, all through from young all the way through high school. And I always struggled with my eating habits. That was like the one thing that I felt like was always holding me back. Now, one thing was I had some self-esteem issues, some self-worth issues, and I mean, I'm 40 years old now, and I'm telling you that it has taken decades for God to bring me to a place where I finally started to face those feelings and those issues and deal with them from a faith perspective. And it's one of my passions through coaching has always been to bring the faith element into fitness, to kind of connect the promises of God for our health into our efforts, into our workouts, into our eating habits. And because that's what helped me finally flip the switch inside. But that is why also I am so excited to be able to tell you that the company that I'm partnered with to bring you all of the fitness programs that I bring you for at-home workouts, and truth be told, these workouts can also be taken to the gym. I always say that. It's not really just at home. But I relate to the mom who either doesn't have it in the budget for a full-time gym membership. She can't justify that because she can't always make it to the gym, or she's intimidated by the gym, or she just has she has no motivation to go to the gym, and especially working out in front of other people. Like, that was me. And so I started working out from home first. And the one thing that I've really always liked about the company that I'm partnered with is that every fitness program that I provide to my clients that I was using, that I still use today for my own fitness results, is that every single program comes with a nutrition program. And I've shared several times that it's through some of these nutrition programs that I was able to really finally start to understand food as fuel and understand the nutritional side of why what I was eating wasn't working, in the sense that there were times where I was doing my workouts and I would get stumped with results. And so then I added in these other tools and resources, nutrition side of things. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm losing like 2 pounds a week and I'm not even trying. And then I would take it a next step up, and I lost a full dress size in 3 weeks. And I was just like, wow, I love this empowerment. I love this self-empowerment, like this understanding that I now have, and I feel like I'm in control, and I'm going to share that with everybody. And that's really what catapulted me into becoming a health and fitness lifestyle coach. And here in helping guide people and coach people through these same programs that had helped me bring results. So when we're talking about this program, though, we're talking about something completely different, because if you were to choose to work out, it would be like the bonus, the icing on the cake, right? But with this program, it's really focusing in on the eating habits and the mindset. That's why it's called To Be Mindset. And, just that helping to flip that switch that, like I said, finally happened for me. But this is a program that it's so beautiful because it helps you, it's actually putting it at the forefront. That's what's got me excited, is that because up till now, okay, everyone knows that you got to work out and you got to eat healthy. But in the background, right, in the behind the scenes, not everybody shares the self-sabotaging. Not everybody shares the struggles with eating and with, like mindless eating and emotional eating and stress eating and social pressure eating, or just the joy of food, just enjoying being sociable, eating food, snacking, watching movies and snacking and the whole thing, right? And that is part of my story. So of course I would bring it into my groups. But what I'm excited about this new program that we are launching, it launches May 2nd. Okay, that's when it's going to first be available. And is that it's taking the eating habits and the mindset piece and putting it at the forefront. So instead of nutrition and fitness only being like the main focus and me coming in as the coach and kind of filling in the gaps, this program is centered all around, first, the nutrition and the mindset. And the fitness is really optional. Because here's the deal. Maybe you're somebody who you feel like, okay, I already got my workouts down, Angel. I have my workouts down in the gym. I'm happy with my workout routine. I enjoy my classes hopefully with me. If you're in the Dallas area, you come to my classes, you enjoy my classes, you enjoy the Group X environment, or you got your own workout kind of thing kind of going, and you're happy with that. You're happy with that. But you're like, food is my struggle. And I hear this over and over and over again because it's the truth. So if that is you, this is the program for you. So I'm gonna ask you some questions here, and I type them in this live chat here. If you're joining me on Facebook Live, then you're gonna see the questions that I ask. Have you ever felt embarrassed or self-conscious about how much you eat? I can relate to that. I've always been a little, like, if I was eating by myself, I would try not to. If I was in a restaurant, in a social setting, or in public, I would not just stand in the corner and eat, or sit in the corner and eat, because I was embarrassed by how many trips I would take to the table till I was full, or just be eating out of like a little bit of a social anxiety, honestly, because I was an introvert. I am an extroverted introvert now today because I've had wonderful people in my life that have helped me embrace who I am and get outside of my comfort zone and start conversations with people so that I could get more out of life, more joy, and have better friendships and so forth. But, my experience in the past has always been that I eat out of stress. If I've had a big argument or something with a friend or spouse or my parents or someone else in my family, and I feel it like a stressor here, and I feel like this hole open up in my stomach. I'm just talking from my experience. Like, I want to fill it. And so my way of escape has always been to turn on the TV, watch a movie, watch a Netflix series, binge, watch something, and have food with me while I'm doing it. And normally there would be a salty and sweet kind of cycle, crunchy and creamy. So everything from popcorn and ice cream to literal potato chips and pickles, and then switch back over to like M&Ms for sweet, and or the bags of chocolate chips that would normally be for baking. I would just open that up, or I'd mix up brownie mix and eat that until I was sick of sweet, and then I would switch to potato chips again until I was sick of salty, and then I would switch back to something sweet. Can you relate to that? And so I always seem to be losing and gaining back the same 10 to 30 pounds well, my question to you is, do you always seem to be losing and gaining back the same 10 to 30 pounds each year? For me, I would always I would lose 7 and then I'd gain 10, and every time that I would lose that weight, I was extreme dieting. I was starving myself. I was eating only vegetables and fruits and trying to refrain from anything else in my mom's house at the time, because I started this cycle in middle school, high school, and it just continued on through my 20s. And I mean, I remember standing in my kitchen in my first apartment that I lived in on my own in college and just eating a can of green beans, because I didn't want to get more fat. I didn't want to gain more weight. And so I would always kind of find myself in this cycle of the usual dieting, right? The same kind of mentality of, I need to be super strict and restrictful in order to lose this weight, but then I was miserable in it. And then I would let loose and be free, because I would, decide, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to rebel a little bit, and, nothing's going to be off. I would want to enjoy my time with my friends, and I would work long hours, and, I would just gorge myself. I would just eat this big plate of food, and I would look forward to that big meal every single day. And I would justify it in my mind, I'm going to eat that because I've been on my feet for 15 hours and, and I work hard and all this stuff. But then, it would just continue the cycle. And what I love is that whenever if I'm considering my background, my experience with my eating habits, and I look at the 2B mindset and I look at the creator of this program, because it's not, yes, it has my company's name on it, but there's an actual real life breathing person behind the program, and she's a registered dietitian nutritionist, and she has put in the legwork through her personal experience and through the research and the test groups with other people, even before she met Beachbody, which is the company that I'm partnered with. Even before she met Beachbody, which is helping her launch this program on a global scale, literally. Before that, she was very much in a very similar background than from me, but unfortunately hers was even more extreme. And so if you'd like, what I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to share with you a little bit of her background, and over the next week, I'm going to be sharing more details about this program in installments, so that you can really get a full picture of what you would get, what the program's about, what it costs, all those things, so you can get the information in bite-sized pieces, okay? So today I'm going to be sharing with you who this program is for and who the person is behind the program that developed it, what her story is, and then also sharing with you how it relates to me as a coach and what you would be getting from me if you chose to go through this program with me as your coach, because you would get both her experience and my experience meshed together in a very safe and supportive and motivating environment, okay? So if we start back with talking about this program is for everything that we've talked about up to this point, where I've said, have you ever been embarrassed by how much you eat in public? Have you ever hidden food? That was me. I hid my food. I hid my eating from even my parents. And y'all, my parents didn't care how much I was eating, but I was ashamed of how much I was eating and how much I craved sweets, because and I internalized all of that as part of my self-worth, and it was something to be ashamed about. So I would hide my eating. And then I also asked you the question, are you tired of always being the usual dieting mentality, where you're always thinking, I have to be super restrictive, I have to eliminate food groups, I have to eat hardly anything, or I have to eat only fruits and vegetables or whatever, and be totally miserable until I lose this 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and then find yourself in the cycle of gaining that same weight and maybe even then some back, because you don't have the tools in place to stop the cycle, and you just continue to go back into your normal eating habits, and you're scratching your head going, what is wrong with me? What's going wrong? You know, why is it that I can spend 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours working out, and yet this weight is still an issue for me? And or that, hey, I'm good in the working out department, or I hate working out, I want nothing to do with that. But if I could just tackle this food issue thing, if I could just get this food thing under control, I know that I would stop being so miserable with my weight. And just, even if it's an internal thing more than an external thing, with that guilt process and that self-worth process. And that's where this program is bringing that self-sabotaging and food, eating habits, and nutrition to the forefront. We're no longer focusing we're not focusing on fitness, really. The fitness is just an extra thing if you want it. We are focusing on what the real life, real deal struggle is for most people when it comes to not just losing the weight, but losing the weight healthfully and happily, without major restrictions and all these rigid rules in place that is not sustainable for real life long term, right? And so if any of those questions feels relatable to you, or any of my experience sounds familiar to you, let me now tell you a little bit of what the creator of the program, the registered dietitian, Ilana is her name, and she has the very same type feelings and experiences and background with food. She, like me, she grew up in a household where she realized later in life, like, the eating habits in her family was different than the eating habits of other families who were healthy and happy and didn't struggle with weight, and it wasn't even an issue in their household, right, with that friend. And so she started to notice these differences, and so she started realizing, okay, well, wait a minute, maybe it's not just my genes, right? Everyone says, oh, that's just our genetic makeup in our family, or I'm just big boned or whatever, and that produces this sense that it's a hopeless situation, like you can't do anything about it, like you're just destined to have high cholesterol, bad cholesterol, high blood pressure, and blood sugar problems, and weight gain problems, and obesity problems, and who wants to live with that state of hopelessness, right? Because negative thinking, that's really what she talks about, was feeding her negative mindset. And she talked about her experience of, she was obese, and to the point that she was couple hundred pounds, and her family was sending her to what we would call fat camps, right? These weight loss camps every summer. And she got in this cycle where she was relying on those camps every year to lose the same 30 pounds every year. But then she said, there was nothing, I would do well while I was in the camp place, but then and I would enjoy my time with them because they were so kind and so friendly, and it wasn't super restrictive, it wasn't crazy, but there were these tools and resources, and in this great environment that I felt empowered and motivated to get to take care of myself, and I did these great habits. But then when I would go home, everything would be return back to normal. My home environment never changed. My what was in my pantry, what was in my kitchen, what was in my eating habits socially, with my friends, with my parents, with my other family members, and how I viewed myself and viewed my eating, everything stayed the same whenever I went back home. So I would gain those same 30 and then another 15. She even said in her story, she talks about how she would a lot of times gain 45 back. And then she would go to camp and she'd lose 30, and then she'd gain 45 again. So steadily over the years, she was still increasing in weight, even though every year she was losing the same weight. Do you follow what I'm saying? And so she was like, at some point in time, I just realized, she said her moment came when her doctor looked at her parents and was like, something's got to happen here, because her cholesterol and blood sugar is that of like a grown man in a very negative, healthy state of being, right? And it shouldn't be that way regardless, but especially in a child. And she talks about how, you know, she started to recognize that pattern that she'd been in, the yo-yo dieting and the negative thinking and the negative cycle, and always going back to those same habits, never really fully changing and staying in place for a lifetime. And so she made a decision. And she says, you know, I made a decision. I realized that I needed to change my mindset, that I couldn't allow weight to continue to hold me back in life. And I'm pausing there for just a moment to take a breath, because that was me too. The weight always seems to be the thing that is holding you back. It was always holding me back in life. And you're like, well, how is it holding you back in life? Like, that's a little dramatic. But when we're talking about, you know, being hiding my food, being embarrassed in social circles, not wanting to eat in public alone because of how I thought other people judged me or thought of me. I shared in a previous post before about wearing hose, control top pantyhose underneath my jeans in college, and you know, because I thought it would help me look a little slimmer in my jeans, and therefore, you know, nobody would know how fat I really was underneath those jeans. You hear me? So like, she was like, I'm tired. And then health-wise, there was no, you know, when I finally started my fitness program, it was because I was tired of feeling weak and low energy and frustrated with my body. And so in every sense of the word, yes, my weight was holding me back in life. And she said she came to that same place where she realized, I can't allow this to continue. And I need to figure out how to lose this weight and never gain it back. And I had a very candid video the other day where I was sharing with some of you, like, some of you have known me since the beginning of my transformation, of when I started this journey for myself and offering my groups and all these things, and when I started implementing all these different parts, and I've been on a steady progression, and like, I've never gained the weight back, and yet and that's like crucial. That is crucial for when you're saying, I want to make this a lifestyle. Like, that is the piece that's missing from, you know, just being in this endless cycle of dieting. It has to change. And so she created her own program. She made the decision that she was going to go to school. She got a bachelor's degree in nutrition. She became a certified dietitian, a registered dietitian, and furthered her education, kept learning and growing. And then what happened was, in the background, she is working on her own. She's kind of developing her own program and working it on herself. And eventually she gets noticed by UCLA, and they ask her, we want you to come teach this at our campus. And so began this semester after semester after semester of her teaching her program, refining her program, and bettering the results that people were getting every single time. So when she started this program, this is impressive. When she started this program with her first groups, she was noticing an average of 12 pounds lost per participant. Each participant was losing 12 pounds in 12 weeks. Okay, so you would think, okay, well, that's pretty cool. But then she kept going, though. She wasn't satisfied. She was like, you know what? I want to make this better. And I want to make it to where it's not just working for some people, but it's working for everybody. I want to hone in on the strategies that work for everybody, and then maximize those so we can increase that. I think we can do better than that number, right? So, and what was interesting about this is that she was working with all groups of people. So the young people, the middle-aged people, elderly people. She talks about a 75-year-old woman that she finally remembers, all jobs and backgrounds. So you had nurses who were working night shifts and long hours, and then people with physical limitations, people without physical limitations. And she just said, I want to know what the most effective tools are that will help everybody, and then let's level this up. So then she noticed that the programs her program was no longer only 12 pounds in 12 weeks, but it upped to 24 to 25 pounds in 12 weeks. Hello. Like, that's crazy. But again, no super restriction on foods. Yeah. All of it centered around mindset and putting the right tools and resources in place. Not limiting, what people were allowed to eat, but definitely helping them to be able to create it and maintain it in their life, right? And so she said every group and every semester, it was the results were better and better. And she finally had the opportunity, the big, what is when people started really opening up to her about the behind the scenes stuff that I talked about at the beginning of this video, which was the self-sabotaging, the coping with stress and emotions through food, and boredom, even the overeating, the tendency to overeat or even undereat, the internal struggle that is just not usually addressed with traditional fitness programs, but everybody faces it. And so it's just like, I know for me, like I said, like for the last couple of years, I'm just kind of like, why isn't anybody else really dealing with this? Why, like everybody I work with is like me, or most people that I work with is like me, where one or more of these types of issues are in place around our eating habits. And that's really what's holding us back. I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of know, like, we know what we need to eat. We do. We know what's healthy or what's not healthy. We know that we need to move our body every day. And so even if it's not an intense workout, maybe it's walking or whatever we enjoy. And somehow, we can still get stuck in this cycle. And she was like, I want to address that. And so then she took her program and she met with my company that was developing these programs and saying, hey, Beachbody, I want to take this program that is working awesome and I have the research and everything to back it up, and I want to expand it and really refine it and take it to the next level. And she partnered with them to help her do that. And so over the last 2 years, she has been working with more and more test groups to continue to refine the program and make it better. And y'all, now instead of not 12 pounds in 12 weeks, not 24 to 25 pounds in 12 weeks, but now the test groups, that the majority of the people in test groups, the average participant was seeing 24 to 25 pounds in just 8 to 10 weeks. So they have continued to improve it. I mean, isn't that like, wow, that is amazing. And so this is I wanted to kind of give you this glimpse into what the program is about, what it's not about, who the person is behind it, and then that extra level of experience and personality that you would get from me as your coach, and why I'm excited to just bring this to what I'm able to offer with my clients that I work with. And so like I said, this is the first installment. This is like the intro video. I've already had you almost 30 minutes now in this talk to tell you about what this program is going to be about and why I'm excited about it. Because look, y'all, have you ever considered yourself to be an emotional eater like me? Have you ever considered yourself to maybe be someone who reaches for food when you feel stressed or sad? Or for me, it was never really whenever I felt sad, but definitely when I felt stressed, or like, I was frustrated with the situation, or like I just had a big argument with somebody and I was just like, ugh. Or I'm like, I don't know what to do about this situation with my kid, like it's out of my hands, it's out of my control. Or, have you ever been a person who genuinely feels deprived when you're told that you can't eat a certain food, like most diet programs kind of give you? And that messes with your mind too. Like being told you can't have carbs, it makes you want to run for all the bread and bagels and muffins around every corner, right? Am I right? I mean, that's me. I understand that. And so maybe you're overwhelmed by all the different weight loss programs that and the different products that are out there, the fat loss pills. I used to do that, Slim Fast. I used to do that, all those things. And I never quite knew what was right for me, if anything. And you know, when yes, I'm a fitness instructor now, but I say it all the time, like fitness was not my thing. I either felt inadequate in doing it. I hated getting sweaty. I didn't like feeling weak and in the workouts, like everybody was better. I didn't like feeling like self-conscious in the group settings and all that stuff. And I was never just like, oh, I'm really enjoying these crunches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to hurry up and get the workouts over with when I finally threw my hands in the air and started working out. But this program, you don't even have to work out. So if fitness is not your thing, also really great for you. Or maybe, you know, you enjoy working out and your active lifestyle, but you just can't seem to get a handle on the eating side of things, the nutrition side of things. And so it's not just knowing about what to eat, but we're putting tools and resources in your hands and through your screen every single day and in our group environment every single day that is going to help you in make that mindset shift. And not just mindset, but physical things that you're going to be able to put in place to help you stop the yo-yo dieting, stop the endless cycle, and make it that sustainable lifestyle, healthfully and happily. No food, off limits, and no major restrictions. Because at the end of the day, that's real life. That's real life, right? Okay, so I'm going to let you guys go because it's now been over 30 minutes that I've been on this video with you, and I'm sure that you have other things to do and other places to go. So I just want to let you know, though, I will be coming back with the second installment to tell you even more details about what it is you'll actually be getting with this program once it launches, which is on May 2nd. And my group is going to be starting on May 14th. And so on May 2nd, starting on May 2nd, if you're like, this program, this is the one, this is speaking my language right here, Angel. Like, I wasn't really into the workouts, or I got my workouts taken care of, covered, Angel. I don't need help in that department, or I'm not interested in that department. I just know that I need help with my eating stuff. Eating side of things, I just need to get a handle on that. That's the area that I've always struggled in. Then here we go. I'm your girl, because not only can I offer you this program, but I can guarantee you I'm going to be delivering this program straight from, I've received training on this, okay? I've received training on guiding you through this program, and I'm going to expertly be doing that. I'm not going to just throw you into the program and say, have fun. I'm going to be guiding you through this, and you get my personal experience. I'm going to be able to understand where you're coming from, and the self-sabotaging, and the eating habits, and the struggles in real life, because that's my story too. So if you related to any of that, or if any of this sounds like your kind of deal, then I want you to reach out to me. I know that you don't like being public about it, so you don't have to comment below if you don't want to. You can just drop me a heart emoji or something, and nobody will know. But unless they were to watch this video all the way through. But private message me. Reach out to me. I'm just another mama. I'm just another woman who has been in your shoes, and I'm still in my own journey. Just like Alana, right? And so she lost over 100 pounds with putting all these tools into place. So far, I've lost over 45 and been able to keep it off for the last several years, and I want to be able to help you find your own transformation story, okay? All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here all day long. I'll see you on the next one, okay? All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.